Here we are again. I'm going to give this another go to repair this Casio CQ-1. If you look in the description box, there'll be a list of videos relating to my repair attempts on this. In the last one, which I only shot a couple of days ago, it was really messed up with battery corrosion. I've actually got another one which is in better condition, but this is kind of my practice one. And I tried to resolder a part, but it broke off again because of the battery corrosion. So now I've got some flux. I've also got my multimeter out so I can check the traces. And I'm going to give it another go. I've either got a cold coming on or hay fever season started. So if I don't do it now, I might not get it done for a week or so, and I really want to get this one finished. So I'm going to try and take my time, see if I can get it working before I screw it all back together again, and really try and make a good job of it this time. First thing I've got to do is set up all my lights so I've got good lighting, and my tripod and everything else. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm throwing everything I've got of this one. I've got my battery operated lights to give me more light on there. Here's my camera tripod. I can move that out of the way. Got my flux. I've got my Chromecast, which is attached to a little mobile TV. And what I'll be doing is I'll be casting. So I'm recording this on a Pixel 4a from a couple of years ago on 1080p, which is HD, high definition. But when I need to see close up, I can't really see easily around the tripod and everything. And if you're watching this on a bigger screen, you can see a lot more than I can. So what I'll do is I'll cast the screen from this phone onto this screen here, which will give me a much better view of what's going on up close and in detail. So let's get my phone mounted on the tripod and we'll get started. Right, so where we got to last time was, and I would recommend you watch it, it's my fail to fix video. I had this off, and this battery, let's zoom in a bit, this battery connector was loose because the circuit board and the solder on the other side has been destroyed by battery acid. So this whole circuit board needs lifting up and moving back in order to gain access to the other side, the screws on this circuit board, and then we can get to the other side of this. So I used a bit of solder on it, but unfortunately the solder broke off again, and the spring is actually held in place by the solder. It goes down underneath that board and back up through that hole. Right, so you've actually got a much better view. I'm looking directly at this from just behind the phone, and you might be watching this, and I'm zoomed in on the phone as well 2 times. So you might be watching this on a big screen, and you'll be able to see a lot more of what's going on than I can. So I don't think there's any screw here. There's no screws holding that in. So it just angles back on these metal pins essentially. But if you get the circuit board the other side of this part, then you can angle it up quite a bit. Oh no, sorry, it's this, I can't remember now. There we go. So now we can get to these screws here. Now another problem I had when I put it back together is these connectors for the batteries, for the button batteries, didn't line up. So I've got to be careful of that when I put it back together. But this is my practice unit really. This is the one where the circuit board has seen most damage. The other one has the same fault. I bought it as working and it sort of didn't work, and then it did work only because this was making a bit of contact with the traces on the bottom. Then it stopped working. So the working one, which I paid quite a bit of money for, I think it was £50 plus postage, that was a bit of a letdown really, because it didn't last very long. Oh, I should have watched the video. I should have watched the video to find out where all the screws went. So I spent a lot of time lately working on videos, and today I plan to work on work. but with my cold and my hay fever, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to be more ill later on, I decided to do the bit where I needed to talk first. Right, so that's the button assembly for the button presses on the back. Don't even know whether they work. So this unit has never worked. That sponge is coming off. I wonder if I can just put it back on and squash it back on with the existing adhesive. Nope, that's had it. So I need to put that back on. So I use a bit of double-sided tape for that, I think. I don't know what the pad does, but it must be important, otherwise they wouldn't have put it in. So that will do for that. Try and keep my work area clean. Right, so this is what we need to repair again. So in the last video, which I highly recommend you watch, I cleaned the board off both sides with vinegar and IPA, isopropyl alcohol. And then I attempted to solder this in here, like this. But the solder didn't take because the solder has been attacked by the alkaline from the AA battery, which leaked into the unit. And I don't know what angle this is supposed to be at. Anyway, I'm going to need to... Oh, let's turn my soldering iron on. And I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to fiddle on the phone screen and get it to cast to my main screen here so I can see in more detail. Right, I've got my screen... So I'm recording on the phone and then casting the screen of the phone off to the monitor at the side of me, and that will eat through my battery really quickly. But while I was setting that up... also make the phone overheat. While I was setting that up, I remembered I wanted to test the continuity of some of these traces. There's no point in fixing the soldering if the traces have had it. So you'll probably hear it bleep when there's continuity. Right, so getting really fancy now, aren't I? So we need this piece of solder here to this trace. Okay, what am I doing wrong here then? Ooh, it works. And this one here, if I can get in there. Actually, I can test that pad there, can't I? And that will be... That's the wrong pad. No, it's the right pad. It goes to this one here. Right, so assuming that these two closest ones here are going to be okay because there's continuity on those, then the other ones should be alright as well. So the battery acid has eaten away at the green paint that they put on the circuit boards. So let me just turn it off. Of course, almost like I know what I'm talking about, isn't it? Right, my soldering iron should now be at the right temperature, I would hope. I need to prop this up. I wonder if I could just prop it up on there. Now the problem I had yesterday was when I'd soldered this, this was at the wrong angle when I put the whole thing back together again. It would have worked, but it was a slightly wrong angle. So I don't know how... I don't know how close it should be. Oh, there we go. So it's got to go in there. Oh, that looks okay. So it's got to... Right, so it looks as if it's going to fit through there. If I can show you. It's very difficult. So it needs to be at this angle, so not perpendicular, slightly angled outwards. So about there. Right, so this is what I didn't have before, which I think I need. and I don't know whether this is a good brand. I did do some research months or years ago into this, and I've never used flux before because it doesn't keep, and I do so little soldering that I'd blow 10 or 12 pounds on flux and then just throw the rest of it away, and that's not very clever on a £20 item that I'm trying to fix. So what I'm going to do now, because I haven't used it before, I'm going to stop the recording and read up on the precautions I've got to take on here, because apparently it's not very good for you. Right, I missed a bit of recording there, so I finally managed to get this sorted out. I haven't seen any flux coming out of the end yet, so let's give it a squeeze. Oh, it is. Look, it's coming out. It is coming out. Okay. So why doesn't that stay in then? Ah, cool. It's quite hard. Harder than I imagined it to be. Okay. So that's going to catch that. Right. Let's get some of these bits out of the way. That's probably just gone all over my desk. Yep, it has. Right, so first thing I want to do is tin my soldering iron again. Now, if you answered my question in my earlier video about this solder flux and it might be going off, then I haven't actually posted that video yet. So this video was probably recorded about, I would guess, nearly 3 weeks before you're watching it, or before it goes live on YouTube. There's so much stuff is in my way here. Right, so I'm stabbing this into here. Right, here we go then. So let's put the soldering iron back in there to warm up. Let's add some flux. I've got my solder ready yet, but I can find that in a minute. Is that in the right place? Yes, that's better. I'd rather have too much on than not enough. Let's get that out of the way. Oh my god. You know who you are, you make it look so easy when you do this sort of stuff. I'm very lucky to have some proper electronics experts who watch my channel, probably for a laugh. Right, okay, let's have a go and see what happens here. I bent the end of my soldering iron. Is that bent? No, it was. I thought it was bent. It's not. Right, let's go. Otherwise, we're never going to get it done, are we? Ooh. I seem to be putting a lot of solder on and none of it's ending up on where I want it to go. So let's zoom in a bit. Nope, no luck at all. Nope, still not stuck on there. So what is going on here? Getting more flux, I think. It's really hard working around all of this kit. Right, the issue I've got here is this whole thing the strength of this, you know when you put your AA battery in, it pushes back on this, so the whole thing's got to be strong enough here, just on the amount of solder that's in here. I really wish I knew what I was doing. So where is all that solder going then? Well, there's the flux, I think. Okay, let's clear that off. Right, it's all pretty gooey, so I'm gonna just, I don't know whether I've got the wrong flux, don't know what's going wrong here. It actually took the solder a lot easier last time when I was working on it. Now I've applied plenty of solder, but I don't know where it's gone. Right, I've got my IPA. I'm going to give it a clean off. Right, so I wonder whether there should be, yeah, I think there should be a pad there. Let's put my screwdriver. I think there should be a pad there where I solder onto. But there is no pad. So I have to think about what I'm going to do here. Let me have a think. Right, yes, so I think that this part here should be a pad, and then that's the spring, and the solder should cover that part there. But the pad has been eaten away, eroded by the battery acid. So what I'm thinking, and this is tiny stuff here, if I can crimp this back on, so fold that end down to hold it in place, and then that will be its strength to hold the battery in the connector, then I might just be able to place this place a blob of solder on there to make the connection. So that's what's happened. The battery acid has eaten away at the pad, and then the solder's just fallen off because it was only being held on by the battery spring, and there's quite a lot of tension on the battery spring. And it says my device is too hot, so I'll have to give it time to cool down. So my plan is now try and bend over this piece of wire without breaking the circuit board. I don't know why my long nose tweezers are rusty, but whatever. So if I can bend that over to hold the battery spring in place. Oh no, that's not going to work, is it? I mean, it's better. I think without putting extra pressure on that, that's as good as I'm going to get. So just in case that solder's not very good, I'm going to use my solder wick, whatever I've done with it, and take that old bit of solder off. Let's get my flammable IPA away from the soldering iron. Alright, let's go. The problem is with this flux, you can't see what you're soldering. don't know whether this solder wire is any good. Oh well, let's give it a go. What could possibly go wrong? That stuff stinks. I don't like that at all. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think there's enough of a pad to join. I'm just going to try and put some more on. I think there's a 1 hour soldering tutorial on YouTube somewhere. Yeah, look, it's just breaking off. Okay, time for a think. You know what, that has actually taken, well, the funny thing is, it's quite hard to move. I think that's where I crimped it on. But there definitely is not a bridge between... I don't think the solder... There's not enough pad for the solder to adhere to. Yeah, this is no clean solder. So you don't... Oh, sorry, flux. So you don't have to clean the flux off. But it's all greasy and oily. Almost given up hope on this one. But what I'm thinking is if I can find a way to anchor this in a little bit better. So that's in position enough. Let me zoom out a bit. God, that flux, I really hate that flux. It's all over the place. It's just greasy. Something's greasy on it. Right, what I think I'm going to do, if I can find some way of wedging this in place and then run a wire from there round here and attach it to that pin there, then maybe I can get the thing to work. But before I go to that trouble, I want to see whether I can just get the connectors working and see if I can get anything on the screen. So let me take a break. Right, the problem I've got is this is the on-off switch and that is inside here. And I don't want to take the whole thing apart just to see whether it's actually going to work. But I think what we can do is if I stretch that spring out, it will push against this part here and against the battery, hold the battery in place. And then I wonder if I can put a wire, run a wire between there and there and just tuck it around the edge. And then that will give us the contacts with the circuit board, but I still don't know whether anything else works on the device. So I might as well give that a try if I can find a suitable bit of wire. Excellent. I thought I had some of these patch wires, and I do, and they might be too short. So that's going to be, what end of the bat? That's a negative end, so let's have a black one. Oh my word. This might work. Let's stretch the spring first, just in case I break that. So I'm just going to use this for something to widen the gap. Obviously I don't want to break it. That might be enough. Okay, let's take away my probably flammable blue cloth and get onto the heat mat like we're supposed to. So what I want to do is take that from there around to here. I'll chop a bit off the end there. That'll do. These are only 3 hands really, isn't it? Right, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and connect it here and then run the wire under the board, because the only other thing the other side of the board is these capacitors. So if I can run it under the board and then back up round to the bottom there, that might do the job. But I might just sacrifice that piece of wire, have another one, so I've got it, because I clipped a bit off. So let's pick another one. We've got to get that attached there and then running under the board. Okay, so there's solder on there. I don't know how I'm going to do this with only 2 hands to apply an extra bit of solder. So I'm going to see if I can just melt the solder that's on there and use the soldering iron left-handed. Well, it is attached to the spring. Okay, so that's soldered to the spring. And that's going to run under there and come out just here. Oh, you can't see it. And attach just there. And then that's going to be close. I think that might work. Oh, that pad pushes against the batteries there, against the battery contacts there. Right, so how am I going to get that around there? I think we need an extra blob of solder on here. Actually, we can put it on this. No, we're going to put it on there. Oh, I don't want to breach those two though, do I? These are pre-tinned, these wires. No, it's not working. This was a 20 quid unit, I think. I don't know why I'm wasting all this time on it, to be honest. Right, here goes, left-handed soldering. Oh my god, it's attached. Okay, so this whole track here runs down there, round here, to that pin, is now bridged by that piece of wire that is tucked under there, and I don't even know whether the case will close with it like that. So that's a bit wonky, but that's no big deal because that will bend back again. Could it possibly be that I've repaired this by now? Okay, let's see if we can get it all situated back in the right place. Okay, that's in the way there. Now, I don't want any finger marks on the tube. I don't know whether it makes any difference. So I still don't know whether this actually works. This this whole calculator. I don't know whether it actually works. That's probably not a good sign, is it? Right, so this, I've now got to put this button assembly back on. I'm a bit confused because there's something missing. Nope, I figured it out. So I've now got to connect this up to here. Okay, the problem I've got situating this is it's got to go the left hand side of that post. It's got to fit in there. It's got to go underneath this little plastic thing here, but the extra wire I've soldered here is fouling this post, so it's all twisted. Ah, have I got it in? Word? I think it's in. Okay. Oh, and that's quite stable, that's quite steady now. Okay. I need a break. I'm going to take a break. Yep, this is hard work, I tell you. So let's see if I can find all the screw holes for this. Plug it back in. This is my practice device, but why am I spending all my time on a calculator when I can go to the pound shop and buy one with most of the features on for £1? If it works, I'm going to be over the moon. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be devastated that I've wasted another, what, 2.5 hours on a 1978 calculator. But if I get it working, I'll be so happy because it looks so cool. And this is just the practice one. I've got the other ones to fix yet. And I'm worried because I think I've got a screw left over. I had a screw left over last time I put it all together. I'm just trying to figure out where that other screw goes. Oh, there it is. It's there. Oh, hang on. No, there's still another one. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where that goes. Okay, it might be the screw from the other one, I suppose. Right, so this needs to be down there and out of the way of these capacitor, what's its names. That needs to then go back on there. Oh, there we go. That was too easy. What am I missing here? Alright, okay. Do I need the bottom bit on? Yeah, I do. So I need to put that on as well. Oh god, there's something wrong. Yeah, I've got one screw left. Yeah, so the one screw goes there. So I've managed to find all the screw holes. Okay. Right, I guess we come to the moment of truth. Yeah, that's nice and tight. Hang on. Oh, oh my god. Oh my god, it's on. Okay, we've got a loose battery. Which one is it? Oh, I figured it out. Oh my god, is this actually going to work? Now that's got a broken clip on it. It's supposed to go in there. And that goes on top here. No! Ah! Oh, it's on! It's on! It's on! It's on! It's off! It's on! Ah, the buttons aren't working. Button number 8 isn't working. No! Okay, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5's not working. 6 is working. I wonder if it's just where they were dirty. So 6, 7, oh, 6 is working. 7 and 8, and 5 are not working. Right. Minus isn't working. Okay, we got somewhere with this. Let's turn it off. 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, okay. Well, what the heck? Well, I've actually partially fixed it. So now I need to take it back apart again, all the way apart again, and see if I can get all those buttons to work. But I think I'm going to treat myself to a walk and a decaf coffee, so I'll catch up later. Right, I'm back after a couple of hours break. Let's have a look and recap. So let's go to calculator, which is they call computer on here. So the display's on, and I've worked out that the buttons that aren't working are the minus button, the 5 button. Ooh, 5 button is working. 6, 7 isn't working. 8's not working. Oh, 7 is working, so it's intermittent. Divide wasn't working, so let's go 9. 5 is intermittent. So 8 is clearing it. Right, stopwatch. So they are working. You just have to press them quite hard. If it's on time, then that's how you press the button for time. I thought we were supposed to stay on, but no. So you have to press it quite hard. And that's just dirty contacts, I think. But I'm not going to use that because I've got a desk clock. So long as the calculator's working, I'm okay with that. So let's try. Let's try 0.0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A bit hard to press. 8. It's not working. 9 divided by 6. Divided by is not working. Yeah, so that's what I mainly want it for. So I'm going to have to take it to pieces. So I might as well clean up all those button contacts. See if we can get this one working. Now this one was the one I bought that was faulty, and he tried to repair it and hadn't had any luck. I don't like this catch at all. There we go. I think my voice is about to give up. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how these buttons work, but the point is these are not very clean. So I wonder if I can turn this over without them all falling out. So the ones at the top aren't working very well. So it's this one here is the number 8. And I think that was one that wasn't working, and you might be able to see, there it is. So this one here is number 8. And you see that mark on there? So I just need to give all of these a clean. Interesting. So it doesn't look too bad under there. I'm not going to take that off because I don't want to do any more than I need to do. So that all needs cleaning up. This membrane could do with a clean. And this could do with a clean as well. So let me get my APA and my cotton buds. Okay, time to put it back together again. Is it actually the chemicals, the battery chemicals have eaten away on that part? Is that the number 8? Yeah, that's the number 8 there, isn't it? Can you give that a little bit of extra attention now? It's a bit bent. Just here, that's the number 8 button that wasn't working. Oh, that's interesting. So that number 8 button is pushing in against this here, but it's away from the bit where it looks too corroded, but there is an indentation on it. Oh, that's the divide. So the one just here is divide, and the one here is number 8. Oh, I think I've done as much as I can on this. Oh, so basically you get it lined up on here and you sort of lever it that way. The only screw is the case screw, okay. Do I need the back on? Yeah, I think I do need the back on. Okay, batteries. Okay, the moment of truth. Okay, what did I do wrong? Right, this isn't another one of those I fixed it to death type of things, is it? Right, let's try these batteries one at a time. Oh, it's on again. Right, I'm pretty sure it's it's a battery connection issue, I think. Right, I think it might be time to call it a day on this one. I've had it working intermittently. A couple of the buttons aren't working here again, but now it seems to have stopped entirely. So I think it might be loose connections, either loose connections or maybe these button batteries aren't working. So I've learnt a lot though in doing this, I think. And what I might do is give it a break because it's getting late, and attempt to fix the other one, which was working until that spring connection failed on the circuit board for the power. So the other one was working fine apart from when the spring became disconnected from the circuit board, and that's what I did fix on here. So what I'll do is I'm going to try and find see if I've got a power jack that will fit in this. I'll have to look up whether it's center positive or center negative, and then I'll try that. But if this is the end of the video, then you know I didn't find the power supply. So yet another fail to fix on this one, which is a bit frustrating. But I suppose that's the way it goes. So I'll see you in the next video.